How's it going, guys? A lot of people know this already, but for those that don't know, it's just great to repeat these types of things, because I know so many people, and like I used to do was I'd continuously watch videos like this and I'd continually get the best information and the correct information, and I'd never once take action on it, or else I'd specifically do that. I'd once take action on it and then I'd stop. So guys, the key to overcoming like agoraphobia and panic attacks and stuff like that and anxiety disorders is you must go forward into the actual panic, into the anxiety, as you know. So of course people know the definition of agoraphobia, you know, like fear of when you have panic attacks and anxiety attacks, you then fear basically places that you feel that are going to be really, really hard, really, really difficult to leave or stay put in the same place, like your workplace, or maybe bringing your kids to the cinema and having to sit there. It can be all ranges of things. You know, a bus that doesn't stop for like 20 minutes or half an hour or something, like even 5 minutes. So you're not afraid of that bus. You're not afraid of that cinema. You are afraid of how you feel in your body when in those places. So you don't have to tackle the cinemas. You don't have to tackle the buses. At the start, what you need to tackle is the symptoms and sensations. And don't forget the thoughts. Oh jeez, the thoughts that go on with this, guys. You think you're losing your mind, but you're absolutely not. You're far from losing your mind. So what you have to do is you have to get to a point, and this takes a lot of consistent work and effort, but if you knew that if you put the hard work in for between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even sometimes 7 months even, I don't know, it's hard to put a time on this, but by the 3rd month or 4th month you'll be a completely different person. Full recovery then will be inevitable. So when you put that type of work in consistently, almost every day, for a couple of months, you rewire the brain. You have to put the exact work in, which is bringing on these symptoms. And for me, the best way to do that was on the runs, on the jogging. Because the jogging, literally, when you're running and exercising, it's literally a panic attack. Literally every chemical in the body and the mind, or every chemical in the body, is the exact same as a panic attack. Every symptom that's happening in the body when you're exercising is the exact same as a panic attack. Adrenaline surging, high heart rate, beating like a mad thing, jelly legs, all these types of things are the exact same things that's happening in your body. And before you had panic attacks and anxiety attacks and you were working out, that never bothered you one bit. You know, so what I did then was I ran consistently, but I had severe agoraphobia, guys. I was afraid to jog certain places, but what I did was I started to get used to these bodily sensations and bodily symptoms, and I tested them nearly every day. It took time to lose the fear of the whole process and what goes on, because it's, you know, it was with me for 10 years, so you can only imagine the type of blockages and behavioural patterns that I developed over those years. But I just started and broke them all, guys. It took me five months of consistent work. 5 months to break 10-year an anxiety disorder with agoraphobia and panic attacks. 5 months. So that's the mistake that people make. They feel that, oh, I just have to, you know, if you haven't been on a bus in a while, or trains, or even flying or something like that, or something as simple, you haven't been to the local shop, you feel that you have to tackle that, which is, it's great, but the correct way to do it is you need to break down these symptoms first, because you have to get to a point where no matter where you are in your body when you feel this, no matter where you are, you know you can cope. And what you have to do is you have to get used to these sensations, and you have to realise that these cannot do you any harm, guys. This will not cause you to have a psychotic breakdown and end up in a mental institution, psychiatric ward, sorry. They will not force you to do these types of things where you're going to go mad and run amok and have a heart attack and a stroke and a seizure. It will not happen. What will happen is exactly what's already happened. What you've already experienced is the worst. That's what will happen. And you'll get super afraid, and you'll probably go back into your shell and start avoiding everything again. And guys, that summarises everything about this disorder. When we have fear of this, it's hard to break free. You have to continuously push yourself and feel those thoughts. You have to go through the deepest, darkest thoughts and see what's on the other side. And when it's on the other side, when those thoughts come again, they will not be as potent in a couple of months' time or even a couple of weeks' time. So, guys, you have to break down these disorders by going into, systematically. You got to break them down by becoming used to the physical sensations. You need to become used to the thoughts and realise that they are not going to come true, guys. It's all irrational thinking. With high adrenaline, and always comes catastrophic thinking, and you can have absolutely crazy thoughts when you're going through this. So I don't think you're alone with any of that, guys. I've had, with the clients that I speak to and everyone else that I've known with these disorders, we've all had the same thoughts. We've all had the same thoughts, that we fear these things happen. And some people I've known that have for 20, 25 years fear these things happening, and it just never happens. So you have to be kind of brave enough to take that step and say, I want my fucking life back, and do anything in your power to get it back. It's just crazy. It's like breaking down that psychology is so difficult, especially when you've been in it for so long. Breaking down the psychology of these disorders is extremely hard. But when put in place, it's like when you give the ingredients to bake a cake and one's missing, it won't cook, it won't rise. When you give everything the correct way, and some people, they do it the correct way, but they lack the one key ingredient. It's consistency, it's discipline, and that's the key ingredient. That's what makes the cookie rise. It's the consistency. Without the consistency and the discipline, you'll stay stuck, because that's not how you rewire your brain. And at any stage of these disorders, you can come out of them. You can come out of these disorders whenever you choose. Some are more severe than others, where they're starting from scratch. The way I was, like, I couldn't even jog. When I started to run, guys, I was so terrified of all these things happening to me that I couldn't even run like 500 meters. I couldn't even run half a kilometer. I couldn't even run a quarter of a mile. I would just shiver and shake with fear that I just got home, and the fear, the depression that was actually lingering over me from this was pushing me towards recovery. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I have to push on through this. And no matter how I felt that day, I went out and done it again, and I got a little bit further. But it wasn't the distance that was giving me the confidence that I can go a bit further. But it was the becoming used to the symptoms. I was becoming used to these symptoms. A bit of oats or something on me. I was becoming used to these symptoms, and that was the key for me. When I became used to these symptoms, eventually then I could go further on these jogs, because I knew the truth. I was going forward, and it's just the key with these disorders, guys. And you have to find that deep inner strength to go towards recovery. You have to find it. You have to find that deep inner strength, and every single person that's going through this has that deep inner strength. And people that go through these disorders are just, people that go through this have a very close bond and connection with, because it was such a huge part of my life, and took away my life for many years. So anyone that's going through this, I resonate with you so much, and I know you resonate with these videos, and that's why I'm going to continue to share my story. And that's the key, guys. You've got to get used to these symptoms. You got to get used to, it's not the places. You don't have to get used to the places. Of course, eventually then, when you become used to the symptoms, then you'll tackle the places, and then that will probably, bring on a little bit more anxiety, but you'll be able to just manage it so much easier. And it's about managing it at first, and eventually then, when you're living normally and you're going to these places that you've feared for so long, and you're able to stay in them without discomfort or without intrusive thoughts and scary thoughts. When you're able to stay in those, then your life starts to just resume as back to normal. And I know you don't feel like this can happen, but guys, I know it can happen. I've seen it happen to many people, and I'm lived experience of it. I just went from strength to strength to strength to strength. And that's why I'll always share my story to inspire people, because I just firmly, truly believe, and I know for a fact that people can overcome these disorders. It's hard work, but it's just an extreme. It's like an extreme form of character development. You have to go through so much pain, but when you overcome it and you're going through it and you come out the other way, your character develops so much, and that's the beautiful part of it. What seems such a chaotic time in your life, when you come out with this, you're just a new person. Like people say, like when they're going, I wish I was the same person. I wish I went back to my normal self. Well, possibly the part of your normal self was probably something that got you into this. You know, it could have been your health, your diet, too much alcohol, maybe you're taking drugs, maybe it's a relationship that was really, really narcissistic and abusive, or whatever your old self was. Part of it possibly, highly possibly got you into this position in the first place. So why would you want to go back to part of that person? You will develop into a new person. We're always developing as we get older, we get wiser, we go through things in life, we lose people, we grow. We lose relationships, we lose loved ones, we grow. And that's what this disorder is. It's like an extreme form of character development. So, guys, that's just a little chat. It's my first day back in Paris today. I'm out on a jog, I'm enjoying it, I'm loving it, I'm grateful. I'm inspired to make just a little video. You know me, guys, with my videos are very sporadic. I just speak, and whatever comes out. I never even once look back on any of my videos to see, what did I say? Did I say this wrong? Did I do that? No, since I've made videos, I've never looked back on one of them. I never look back on any of them. I don't know anything. I forget all of them. I just put them out, and whatever I felt, whatever way I spoke, is from the heart and from living in the moment, living right now. Whatever I say, and then it's posted up. I'm not gonna look back at this video ever. It's just up, and there it is. And if someone can take any small piece of inspiration or some form of, reassurance, positive reassurance that they can get out of this, great. But the main thing why I want to make this video is that people say, you're sitting on the couch now, you haven't done anything in months, you say, fuck this, I'm not living like this anymore. And sorry for the language, guys, sometimes I express myself that way, I apologise. But yeah, you have to have that. You have to have that attitude. It's like, I don't care anymore. I give up. I really don't care. I'm just gonna go into this panic, this anxiety. And that's the mindset that got me through, guys. So, it's just 13 minutes long. I'm gonna cut it. I was gonna say I'm gonna cut it short, but 13-minute video is quite long. Most you can upload is 15 minutes, so I always have to be mindful of the time. But yeah, that's it, guys. I hope someone takes inspiration from this and starts that journey. Take it easy, guys.